Our friends over at Superbox are at it again with the brand new release of their S7 line. And thank you to Superbox for sending out their brand new S7 Pro in exchange for my review. The S7 Pro is an Android IPTV box, allowing you access to unlimited streaming content, pay-per-view events, video on demand, streaming series, and local content in nearly all regions, allowing you to break the cord from all your paid streaming services. The S7 Pro is legal. You can find it on Walmart and Amazon, though I do recommend you purchase it from Superbox directly, because if you purchase it from a third-party seller that's altered the device, Superbox could choose to block you from their network and deactivate the device. So I do highly recommend you order directly from Superbox, and a link will be down below in the description. The S7 Pro is running Android 12, features 4 GB of RAM and 32 gigs of eMMC storage. Features time shifting, allowing you to go back up to 7 days so you don't miss shows that are scheduled. On previous Superboxes, time shifting was limited to 8 hours. Enhanced parental controls, enhanced voice control and search, 212R dual-band Wi-Fi 6, a quad-core ARM Cortex-A53 SoC, supports the latest H.265 codec at 6K 60Hz, Bluetooth 5.2 with a Bluetooth remote, and the retail price on the S7 Pro is $359. All right, let's get the S7 Pro unboxed and let's see what's inside. All right, here's everything you get in the box. Let's walk around the contents and take a look. So here we have our 5-volt 2-amp power supply. We have an HDMI to HDMI cable. We have a quick start guide, which honestly isn't very helpful. There's just some basic setup steps in here, but don't worry, we're going to go over the complete setup of this device in just a moment. We also have a full-featured Bluetooth remote with mouse controls, much like LG TVs, which I'm looking at right in front of me now. It's kind of a nice feature, allows you to move the cursor around on screen, and you can enable and disable this at any time. I will say it does take 2 AAA batteries, which are not included in the box, so you want to make sure you source those when you get your Superbox. And now let's take a look at the S7 Pro itself. So here is the Superbox S7 Pro. This looks like a dark gray, almost black color, a metallic type coating here. This is definitely a metallic type box instead of plastic. We've got our 2 Wi-Fi antennas here in the back. We've got our LED display in the front, which is going to show us our time and channels as we go through it, as well as some branding. And we flip it over, we have some rubber feet, as well as some ventilation for proper airflow. And on the sides, we have some holes for additional airflow as well. And on the back, we have quite a few ports. So new for the S7 line is a USB-C power hookup instead of a proprietary connection. Here, let me show you the S6 Pro that we recently reviewed, which I'm absolutely loving, by the way. The S6 Pro has been working fantastic for me. You will see that the S6 Pro uses a proprietary power plug, where on the S7 Pro, we just have USB-C. That's a nice quality of life upgrade because that allows you to use most USB type chargers, that you have around the house for your phones. Anything that's putting out 2 amps and 5 volts is gonna work fine for this. But again, it comes in the box. You don't have to worry about it. But super nice for in the future if you ever happen to lose that, or if you just wanna carry one charger with you when you're on the go. So that's pretty sweet. We then have an infrared port, audio video port, HDMI, this is going to be your gigabit LAN, and this is going to be an SBDIF connection as an alternate means to USB-C and HDMI for the video out. And on the right side of the device, we have some additional ports, which I'm having a hard time showing up on screen here, but basically this is an SD card reader, so a TF port. And new for this year, instead of a USB 2.0 port, we now have a USB-C port as an optional connection. In addition to that, we have a USB 3 port. Before we dive into setting this up, I want to say that I've noticed the 2 biggest differences between the S6 Pro and the S7 Pro are going to be the time shift capabilities, going from 8 hours all the way to 7 days now on the newer model, as well as the USB-C ports for power and connectivity. Outside of that, they're pretty much similar boxes, running similar versions of Android, and the specs are all the same. You are looking at a $30 price hike though. The S6 Pro is $329 and this one comes in at $359. Now let's take a look at setting up the S7 Pro. All right, setting up the S7 Pro is super easy. So all you do is take your HDMI cable, plug it in the back of an HDMI slot on a monitor, TV, whatever you have, plug in the USB-C power, turn it on and switch your input over to HDMI. And then you're gonna get prompted with this disclaimer notice here. And it basically just tells you a little bit about the superbox. It's an empty device and an open entertainment device. That's pretty much the nature of it. You know, this is an open Android device allowing you to get pay-per-view, video on demand, and streaming services for a one-time purchase instead of continuing to pay for streaming services. So we'll go ahead and accept this agreement. All right, so we'll agree. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select our home Wi-Fi router from the available list, and we'll put in the password for it. All right, then we'll connect. Once they're connected, we press next to get to the next screen. And then what we're going to do here is we'll press up and down on the remote till you see a little bit of a black bar around the edge of the screen. This way we know it's not cutting off the image. Looks like 96% is pretty good, right around 97. Let's go with 97, we'll hit finish. And now here we are at the S7 Pro main home screen. All right, the first step in the setup process is to pair the Bluetooth remote. Now, the Bluetooth remote does work a little bit out of the box. It's kind of flaky though, you know, it doesn't work that good. Like the signal strength is really low and the range is low. Once we pair it in Bluetooth mode, the remote works great. So in order to do that, you're gonna press this voice assistant button right on the remote. And then we wanna press and hold the OK and back button for about 8 seconds or so. All right, now with that out of the way, the remote's working much better, much more responsive. And now let's go ahead and begin the setup process. So the first thing you want to do is go out to the App Store. And you're going to see this little icon here for App Store. So let's go ahead and add this real quick. We're going to confirm the download. Let it do its thing here just for a moment. All right, so now we have an App Store. So we're going to go ahead and launch the App Store. And we're going to have to sit here and watch this disclaimer for 10 seconds. All right, with that out of the way, we can press OK to continue. And now what this is going to do is this is going to load up all of the different apps that are supported by Superbox. And the main ones that we're interested to get all of the content is going to be Blue VOD. We'll start that download by pressing OK. Blue TV, Playback, and Backup TV. Now, while those are downloading, we'll scroll down here a little bit. You will see there are a lot of other apps to install and try out, but do keep in mind that many of these are like third-party apps, are not fully supported by Superbox, and they're not part of the, let's say package, so to speak, for you getting your channels. These are all like extra stuff that you can do. But to get the main functionality out of the Superbox, you just need these 4 apps that I'm highlighting over: Backup TV, Playback, Blue TV, and Blue VOD. So those are all installed, so we can go back home. So now what we're going to do is we're going to assign these apps to these little tiles here, because right now if we go into each one, like Live TV, we're going to go in here and there's not going to be anything. So let's go ahead and associate one of our newly installed apps to Live TV. So we'll pick Add, and you're going to see here that our new apps that we just installed are now available. So for Live TV, that's going to be Blue TV. So we'll go ahead and pick that, and we'll go ahead and hit the back button to get out of here. All right, and we'll hit the back button again to get to the main home screen. Then we're going to do the same thing for Video on Demand. So we'll go ahead and hit OK to go into this tile. We're going to hit OK to go into Add. And then for Video on Demand, we have Blue VOD. So we'll press OK to add that. And then we're going to hit the back button twice to get back to the home screen. Now we have this playback icon. Again, kind of the same thing. We'll press OK to go into here, OK again to go to Add, and then we have our playback app that we installed a little bit ago. Now we're going to go ahead and select that by pressing OK, and we'll hit the back button twice to go back to the home screen. And then Backup TV, we're going to throw down here on one of these small little tiles here. We'll go ahead and add a new one, all right? And now I'm going to go ahead and add one for backup. There it is, the first one. All right, we'll go ahead and hit the back arrow twice to get out of this. And now we have the Backup TV set. So basically what we've done is we've gone to the App Store and we've downloaded the main application that the Superbox uses, which is the App Store. And then we went back here and we installed 4 different apps to these 4 different tiles. The 3 main tiles and then 1 additional tile down below. And that's going to give us access to all these different channels. It's incredible. One other thing I want to point out in the App Store, if we go back there, you're going to also see the Play Store. So if you want to head out to the Play Store to install a VPN client like Nord or any other Android-based apps, you could do that right here on this device. You could also set up your VPN to auto start and auto kill when this device starts up and stops, so you're always protected at all times. And this device also does support guest networks. So you have a lot of different options for securing your network, making sure you're safe, and you're behind a VPN. So you do have full access to the Play Store to make all that happen. Now back on the home screen, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the options and stuff before we actually dive into the tiles. So up in the top right, you're going to see that we're connected to Wi-Fi and that we have Bluetooth turned on. And then down here at the bottom, let's go ahead and start from the left over to the right. So the bottom left is where we're looking down there, and what we're looking at is the settings cogwheel. So when we go ahead and press on that, you're going to have your network and internet information, turn on and off Bluetooth and all that good stuff. And you can list out your apps, but really the main thing that you want to go into when you go into settings is going to be your device preferences. So when we open this up, we have a lot of different functionality. We can change the date, time, language, keyboard inputs, and all that good stuff. We can also adjust Google Assistant, check out our storage. We can implement Chromecast. We can enable a screensaver, turn on Energy Saver. Just a bunch of different options that you would expect. They're all right here in one single spot. We'll press the back button a couple times to get out of here. And now on the bottom, also we have this folder icon. So when we go into here, this is basically looking at your local network. So if you have other connected devices, as well as any USB sticks or peripherals that you might have plugged in directly to the S7 Pro, this is where you can manage all of that. And again, here's that NFS share. So this is a great way for you to access your content on your local network or locally to the S7 Pro itself if you don't want to use the IPTV services. So you have a lot of different connectivity with this box. We'll hit the back button twice to go back to the main menu. And now the third option over, it looks like a broom. Basically, this is a system cleanup routine, and you should run this once I'd say every month to 2 months or so. And what this is going to do is it's going to clear out your cache, because as you're watching different videos and different series, a lot of that's going to get saved locally onto the S7 Pro to help speed up rewinding and going forward, while you're watching the program or the series, whatever you want to call it. That's all built into the device. And with this little system cleaner, you can clear all that out, and it helps keep it fast. And this will also clear out outdated application files as well. Next to it is a speed test. This is just going to take you out to a browser for a quick speed test. And this is basically what it looks like. It's just checking your download speed and a quick upload speed test, just to make sure your Wi-Fi is up to snuff for supporting this type of service. Next to the speed test icon, it looks like a garbage can. And if you press OK on this, this is going to give you a list of all of the applications that you installed so you can quickly go and uninstall them. And this is really nice because as you get to use your S7 Pro, you might play around and install a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And after a while, you may not be sure of what you actually installed. This is where you go to check on this, and this is where you can go to clean it out. Here we have voice assistant and keyboard options, as well as this last option here, which is going to pull up a support window. And if you need to reach out to the folks at Superbox, I recommend using the leftmost QR code on the screen. That's going to take you to their online support, and you'll get responses pretty quickly. All right, with the initial setup and features walkthrough out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the content that you can expect to find on your S7 Pro from Superbox. We'll start over here to the left with Live TV. Press OK to go in that. Press OK on Blue TV. Give this just a moment to load up. As you can see here on the top left of the screen, we have 2,027 channels to pick from. And as we start scrolling through these, you're going to see we have a ton, and I mean a ton, of streaming content here. These are going to be all your regular TV stations. A lot of these are regional, some are local. Just a whole mashup of different entertainment you can find right here in this one application. And if we hit the left button on the remote control here, this is going to take us over into categories where you can further refine your searches and filtering. And don't forget, at all times, you have the blue microphone button right here on the remote. That's going to give you quick access to any particular show or movie that you want to watch. You can just do a quick voice search. So let's go ahead and fire up one of these channels. I am going to have to leave a lot of this blurred out, obviously for copyright protection. But what I want to show you now is a functionality for time shift. You'll see that there at the bottom of your screen. And it says to press the left button to initiate it. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now what we can do is we can basically back up with our arrows and forward. we can go back and forward in time. And now instead of 8 hours, we can go back and forth a full 7 days. So basically, if you like go on vacation, you got something to do with your kids and you forget all about one of your favorite shows, no worries at all. You just go back into it and you can go back a full 7 days in real time and pick up right where you left off. Pretty amazing feature. All right, we're going to go ahead back to the home screen. Let's go ahead and check out Video on Demand now, the VOD apps. So we'll click OK on Blue VOD to load this up. Give it just a little bit to load up. Doesn't take too long, it's pretty fast. So at the top, you're going to see recommended, newest, movies, and there's going to be a ton. We're going to go into this section in just a moment. TV series, and just some basic settings here. So if we go back to like movies or newest, but let's go to movies here. Up at the top right of your screen, you're going to see page 1 of 1,475. So there's literally 1,475 pages worth of these movies here. And again, you have your categories over here to the left. You can do a search up at the top. This will be with the on-screen keyboard. Or again, you can press the voice assistant button right on the remote. Point Break. And just like that, we have our search results. Go into any film you want to go into. Doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and pick Point Break here. Watch now. You're going to see the loading times here in real time. Give it just a moment. And it's ready to go, just like that. Back again at the home screen, we're going to go over to Playback. So again, we'll click OK to go into the Playback application here. Give this just a moment to load up. And we have more goodness. So over on the left, we have pay-per-view, NBA, MLB. This is where you're going to find all your pay-per-view events, all your major sporting events. It's pretty awesome. You have your calendar of events over here to the right. So we'll scroll down a little bit so you can get an idea of all the different stuff that's here. All right, and this is all of it right here. So you've got 86 different channels dedicated to all your different sporting events and main stuff here. It looks like there's some news stations and stuff here too. But the main gist of this is to get into your pay-per-view and all your sporting events. And then lastly for our installed apps is we have Backup TV. Now the whole point of Backup TV is it's basically a backup to live TV. Because what will happen once in a while is Superbox will upgrade these apps behind the scenes and or they'll be upgrading their servers. So what will happen is you'll go into live TV. Let me do this real quick and we'll go into Blue TV. And every once in a while, and this doesn't happen often, but that receiving data that loaded up there will take a really long time, and then you'll basically come up to a list that's not going to load properly. And what I normally do is I just go back home and reload the app, and it usually works fine. But if it doesn't, that just means Superbox is in the middle of an upgrade, and you can get the same functionality by just going into your Backup TV. All right, and there you have it, the S7 Pro from Superbox. An amazing little Android IPTV box from a company that's been around for years now. Superbox is not new to the game. So thank you, Superbox, for sending this out for the review. I really do appreciate it, and these are just such awesome little boxes. I mean, these things are super easy to set up, very few issues. The only thing I ever notice on like my S6 Pro is every once in a while, I'll go to load up one of the blue channels and it'll start to load up slowly. So what I'll do is I'll just back out real quick and then I go right back into it and it works great. I mean, that's like it. That's the only issue I've ever had with my S6 Pro, and I'm assuming the S7 Pro is gonna follow suit. Thanks again, Superbox, for sending this out. If you have any questions or comments about today's video or the S7 Pro, please drop them down in the comments section below. I really do appreciate your time. And as always, thanks for watching.